I'm delighted to be sitting here in Barcelona with Christoph Schell, the Chief Commercial Officer of HP Worldwide. Christoph, thank you for coming.
Thanks for having me.
It's great to be sitting here today. How's the pandemic been for you?
To be honest, I mean, from a private point of view, I actually enjoyed at the very beginning, being a little bit more at home. But then, after all these years of traveling, I got a little bit itchy feet. And so I'm happy to be here. It's one of my first travels internationally. So thanks a lot for inviting me.
No, it's great to feel the in-person connection once again, isn't it?
Yes, yes. I feel the same way.
But HP's done a lot over the last 18 months. Do you
yes.
want to talk a little bit about some of those things?
I think, look, for us, number one, it was very interesting to see how essential our two core businesses have become. Personal systems for hybrid work, hybrid learning, and in the same context, printing has become really different. It has changed. It's a business I know very well, been associated with for many years. We saw a big growth in our subscription-based selling, actually. And I think that's something to double click on and to continue. I think we made major changes in how we manage our channel partners with the launch of HP Amplify and then all the little chapters, HP Amplify Impact, HP Amplify Data Insight. So I think this book is coming together now. And I think it's important, looking at hybrid work, looking at hybrid learning. I think where the journey is going, all of these elements of how we speak to the channel will be very helpful.
Tell us a bit more about the sustainability program in particular.
Yeah, look, so I think we reached a conclusion a couple of years ago, actually started this a couple of years ago. I looked at our CRM and at our funnel, and I started to count how many of these customer requests actually have a mentioning of sustainability or diversity, and how often we need to talk to them about it. How often do they ask us to pitch or to put it in our offer when we reply to them? And we started to track that. And last year we closed business north of $1 billion where we had engagements based on sustainability. And for sustainability is a topic within HP that has been there from the very get-go. We look at it as a continuum. It's something that the ecosystem needs to do. It's not something that a vendor can do in isolation. You need to look at all aspects of your supply chain, but then also in your ecosystem of partners. And so we thought it would be a great idea to bring this to life together with partners, not only to teach, but also to learn a lot. And we're in Europe today. I think Europe is one of the markets where sustainability has been at the forefront for a long time, in particular in the Nordics. We're learning a lot from the partners there. And then I think, if you, case in point, if you look in the last 1.5 years, you look at all the supply constraints, the amount of refurbished business that we are using to sell services now to customers has been increasing. All of that is packaged with it, HP Amplify Impact. And so I think it was the right product or the right program, if you want, at the right time. I know that we were being copied by some others. That's all good because it's going to make the overall ecosystem better. But I'm actually quite proud that we launched it.
You were the first, and I do have to congratulate you. And what's more, you're doing something now rather than making promises of some unknown future and making impact now. And I think the partners have reacted very well to the program. It's not something you're having to push. They want to work with you.
No, we offered it, and it pulled a lot of people in. Yeah, there's a lot of interest, a lot of sharing, a lot of requests for, hey, can you audit us? Can you tell us where you see opportunity for us to do things better? I love that. It's really good. It's a very interactive approach. And yeah, when I speak to customers about HP Amplify Impact and sustainability, well, then you also start speaking about business. So it's good. It's good to spend time with them on that.
Now, as in charge of sales for HP Worldwide, your challenges have changed during the pandemic. Probably at the start you were nervous, you didn't know what the results will be, and now we're in a situation where you can't supply.
Yeah.
How are you managing that situation?
We can supply. We cannot.
Sorry, you can't supply everything.
We can't supply everything and not enough.
Yeah.
And you said this earlier today in another meeting. That we all in this industry are used to manage demand constraints and associated pricing and cost pressures. This is different right now. Right now, I think we are managing cost pressures. Yes, that's something we've all learned how to price cost, and that's actually quite good. We've also learned a little bit, I think, how to be more flexible with certain requests that we from customers and how we respond to those. All of us have become experts in procurement of components, in factory management, in automation, how to run an order through an ODM factory and come out at the other end and deliver it to a customer. These were all topics that, we touched on in the past, but now it's a daily occurrence. Every day I look at what logistics hiccups have happened overnight. How is the energy situation in certain countries doing? All of this has an impact. It has actually made my life much more complete as an entrepreneur, if you want. Okay, I actually enjoyed it. I enjoy these little headwinds. It puts the spice in the soup. It makes it a little bit more competitive, a little bit different, and it's a situation that will stay with us for some months to come.
And I think that means prices will rise rather than fall over the next 12 months. We'll have inflation in our industry.
I see cost rising, and because of that, our industry will be required to pass cost on. We know that from a procurement point of view of components. We know that on the logistics side of things. So yes, it's also, I think, one of the reasons why a lot of our customers are really embracing the idea of not buying a product, but buying a service, and buying a scalable service that they can adapt up and down from a cost point of view when they require it. It's good. It's good in that sense because it will actually push this new way of engaging with customers differently and through different business models more.
Now we're starting to see, as we go into October, some companies go back to the office, maybe in a hybrid approach. Have you started to see your business mix change as people think about equipping their offices as they return? Or is it too early?
No. I mean, it depends. It's a global...
I'm thinking particularly about print.
Particular print?
Yeah.
Look, I think at a global level, yes, offices are starting to open, but it's not going from 0 to 100 over one weekend. We see people slowly but steadily going back to offices. I also really believe in hybrid work. We will have to define what it looks like when it's all said and done. But I do believe that we will not go back 100% 5 days a week. I think it will be a lot of companies that will have majority of their workforce either be mobile or spend 2-3 days a week in the office and accommodate for the rest. That is a huge opportunity for us as an IT industry, because to make that work, I mean, your event today is a hybrid event. You need different type of technology, you need different type of interaction. That's business opportunity for all of us, for our channel partners, for us as vendors. If you look at the acquisitions of HP, the recent acquisitions, they all kind of mirror the opportunity. Okay, where's our portfolio going from a hardware point of view, but also from a service delivery point of view? I think it's awesome. It's very exciting, and it's adding on to the business potential that we all had already prior to COVID.
So tell us a bit more about the acquisitions.
So look, we believe that hybrid work and hybrid learning is here to stay. Okay, so when you then look at, okay, what does it take to deliver the best experience to a customer? It has a lot to do. It starts with hardware. Okay, so we talked a lot about the growth we saw in personal systems and in print, but then in accessories, I think there's really cool opportunity there. Cameras, how you bring a Zoom meeting, a team meeting really to life, the speaker systems that you use. Then the next topic is all around security. Okay, so we've made acquisitions prior to COVID in security, and I think they're making a lot of sense for us now. Okay, and then I think the whole idea of, okay, what is going to be managed in the cloud going forward? What is going to be managed on premise? What is going to be managed on the edge? How can you scale a personal systems value proposition up and down without adding hardware, but maybe a service? That is what is behind the Teradici acquisition. So we hope that, you as obviously an interested party, our partners as an interested party, our customers, when you look at our acquisitions, we really think that there's a common theme, okay? And you understand why we are making these acquisitions. They're all a meaning to an end to lead within hybrid work and within hybrid learning.
Can you bring us up to date on your as a service offerings and the progress you're making both in print and PC devices as a service?
Yeah, so let me start from a customer point of view. In the past, we've been designing services, typical HP. We've been looking at consumer segments and small and medium segments and enterprise segments. And, our portfolio of digital service reflected that. The learning over the last 1.5 years, at least for me, very much is, forget about these segments. It's a prosumer type of arrangement, and your services need to be able to reflect that. So for us, when I talk about remote work, for example, but the remote management of your systems, the remote management of your devices, super important. How do you do BIOS upgrade as a CIO when your employee is actually working from home? it's a superb opportunity to sell a digital service around that. It's one example, okay? How do you measure the pages that are printed in an employee's home? Which pages are printed for the company? Which pages are printed for the homework of the kids, okay? How do you invoice that? Can we book one to the credit card of the company, one to the credit card of the employee? Think about this as an Uber, okay? That's a great workflow opportunity. Cybersecurity, I mean, yes, we have a lot of offerings there already. So just 2-3 examples of how we are building this out. What is interesting is that while contractual engagements have really been growing for us, the thing that hit the nerve was subscription models, auto replenishment models that we had with Instant Ink, for example. And so we were thinking a lot about how can we build more into this subscription idea of Instant Ink. You know, we've added toner now for some of our geographies. What else can we add? Okay, can we think about an instant personal systems product? I make this up right now, but I want everybody listening in to realize a little bit how we're thinking about this. And yes, subscription models. HP Ink was designed. Instant Ink was designed for a consumer in mind, but we've seen Instant Ink blur into the home office, blur into SMBs, and so I think that's the path to go. And then how to work with partners, how to incent them in participating there, that is what we're working on.
And does the popularity of the Instant Ink program, does it vary by region in the world? I imagine the US is ahead or more willing to accept those models.
Actually, I think it's more a question of where we launched it, okay? So because it wasn't one big global worldwide launch, it requires a bit of infrastructure. But in every market where we launch it, it's actually quite attractive to customers. We recently launched in Australia and see good growth there as well. So no, I'm actually happy with every market. What is maybe a little bit different is what value proposition do you offer? For example, in emerging markets, I think we will have to tweak that, and we're working on that. But the overall framework, I think, resonates.
HP works obviously very closely with the partners. Many of the partners HP created 20, 30 years ago. Yeah. The partners are also having a good pandemic. I'm wondering what your message to the partners is about the next 12 months, the next 2 years. What are you pushing them to do on HP's behalf?
I'm pushing the partners to work with us from an operational point of view in embracing a supply constraint situation. That means we need to be more excellent in how we forecast. We need to be earlier. How we engage customer partner HP needs to be faster and more forward-looking. That's one. Second, please embrace this idea of not moving a box, but selling a service. Think about an annuity that you can generate. Think about how that annuity gives you stickier relationships with your customers, how we can sell up, how we can cross-sell once it's very sticky. We have partners that are embracing this. We have partners that are not embracing it, and that's fine. I just think that they might actually miss an opportunity. And then I see a lot of movement in the partner landscape. You know, we saw some big acquisitions happening, not just in the distribution space, but also in the value-added reselling space. I see a lot of stuff happening between retailers and VARs, and vice versa. And then obviously this duality, we talked about home and office. I think the channel, it's all about online versus offline, marketplace versus direct online. That is still a huge opportunity. And that's actually the reason why we launched HP Amplify Data Insights. We believe that bringing data, customer-centric data from 3 different sources, so the partner, HP, and third party together, will help us to understand where the puck will be for the customer in the future and then have the right value proposition.
Excellent, Christoph. I think really good answer. I think the channel is nervous of Amazon and Amazon business. And these are the kinds of initiatives they need to match or
to compete. Yes, I agree.
I mean, Amazon isn't perfect, and particularly outside the US, I think they struggle to make money on tech products. So that, but clearly, everyone is threatened by Amazon in every business in the world. So
I think Amazon's just showcasing a business model and a value proposition that resonates with customers, and I think that's what we in our channel has to learn from that.
And you mentioned consolidation of the channel. Is that something you're in favor of? You're nervous of?
No, neither any of that. I'm just observing it, and I'm going through it, and I look at it as an opportunity because it means the channel is evolving.
Yeah, and we see partners growing, but also new partners do enter. People always forget that. It's not a
Yes.
static community. One disappears, then 10 more new ones often.
That's very correct. That is correct.
So you've obviously had a tremendous year. The shortages are the issue. Are you making any changes in your supply chain structure to?
Yeah, look, I mean, it's
Will
how
it
we
be more local manufacturing or?
there's a couple of things. I mean, how we work with suppliers is very important to us, and how we plan with them, how we go from maybe single sources of components to dual or triple sourcing of component, how we look at our factory footprint, where we manufacture. There was actually something already we started to look at prior to COVID, just because of tariffs. And then the third piece, and that is key for HP, is how do you automate that flow of orders through ODMs back to the customer? You know, there's opportunity there to invest from an infrastructure point of view, and so we're working all these three pillars at the same time.
And the tariff issue continues in the US. It's not something that Joe Biden has ended.
No, it's ongoing.
Yeah. So that structural change is still continuing.
It's real, and that means that the need to diversify our supply chain is also real.
I also have to ask you, Christoph, because I know you've lived around the world, almost everywhere, it feels like. And there's some turbulence in the economy. Price of energy rising everywhere.
Yes.
Property issues in China, as well as price of energy.
Yeah.
Do you think there are real warning signs? Do we need to be cautious, or is it just noise in the press and we'll work through it?
So I'm bullish about the market. I'm bullish about demand, but I'm also eyes wide open. I see inflation in some countries. At the same time, the same countries are charging negative interest rates on their bank accounts.
Yeah.
It seems there's a lot of non-logical behavior or illogical behavior, and I'm actually more worried about that. Okay, I'm worried about people not looking at this as a continuum and making irrational decisions. But from a demand point of view, I'm very bullish.
So even if the economy slows, our industry should be in great shape.
I think our industry is doing well. Just knowing what the demand is out there right now. Also looking at how we're doing from a revenue growth point of view. Some of it, of course, because we have to continue to price on cost increases. But I'm bullish right now.
Okay, we're pretty much out of time. A final message to the partners.
A big thank you to all the partners. I think it was amazing to see how we work together, even in a virtual environment, even in an endemic environment. I came here to Barcelona because I really want to meet some, and it worked out, but I know that more of these travels will be required, and I think we will all find the right balance between virtual and in person as we go forward.
I think that's we're all working towards that. Yes. We all have to learn, change.
We have to learn. We have to change. I think we also have to put it into context of our sustainability strategies. There's a point to be made about our carbon footprint and the opportunity we have to reduce that. I think that new balance and learning from the last 1.5 years is going to be very important.
Christoph, it's wonderful to spend time with you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Steve. Hello, everyone. Thank you to Steve and the team at Canalys for having me. I'm super thrilled to be here. Let's get started and dig right in. I want you to think about your life just before the pandemic began. Now think about your life 5 years before that, so back to 2015 or so. In our personal life, you probably didn't have devices that talk to you yet. You perhaps used one TV streaming service, not 5. You likely had never used a reusable or paper straw. Drones, electric vehicles, and virtual reality were all things you'd heard of, but you probably hadn't experienced yourself. And as a seller, you are likely taking the majority of your business meetings in person and traveling frequently, just like I did. Technologies like the cloud and AI were becoming more mainstream and being discussed more often in your conversations with customers. And you were probably building a strategy aligned to the omnichannel and the experience-driven economy that was rapidly emerging. Now, imagine compressing all that innovation, all the change, the learning into just a handful of months. You don't have to imagine it, we all just lived through it, and our lives have changed forever. Our friends at McKinsey estimate that within just the first few months of the pandemic, 5 years worth of digital adoption occurred. How we work, how we shop, how we communicate,
Even how we blended our lives between what we consider work and play has evolved. And it was all driven by technology. The pace isn't slowing and sellers must be ready. The theme of this year's Canalys Forum is Thrive. What that means for each of you is different, but there's no question that enormous opportunity lies ahead. I believe 5 trends are fundamentally shaping our future and the business landscape at large. The first is the rise of the prosumer, an emerging but very influential category of consumers. Second is the subscription economy, where recurring value-added services replace transactional product purchases. Third is the shift to an outcome-based model. Today, we are selling business outcomes, not just products. And fourth is the power of data and harnessing it to grow our businesses long-term. And last, but certainly not least, is the imperative for companies to drive a positive, sustainable impact on the world. Let me explain why each of the trends is essential to your business. Prosumers are a combination of professional users and consumers with fluid technology needs. They are the embodiment of our hybrid world, where work, school, entertainment, and more all occur on the same devices. So what's the challenge for vendors and our partners? The rise of prosumers is not simply an opportunity for vendors to capture and commodify an untapped customer segment. It's an opportunity to put tangible and human-driven insight at the core of how we design technology to meet diverse needs. This requires creativity. Take, for example, the first ever Zoom-certified monitor that HP launched in June. Our research showed that while living our lives on screen, we're very aware of how people show up. In fact, 70% of people HP surveyed said they judge others based on their video and audio quality. We worked with Zoom on this technology because our displays should capture us as we are and build our confidence anytime we are using video. Just a few weeks ago, we launched new premium and mainstream PCs with features that account for our changing world even more, with sharper, more secure cameras that allow you to move around the room and can do everything from improving your lighting conditions to giving you a well-being reminder about your screen. Audio that adapts to background noise with better volume control and enhanced lightweight, design, battery life, processing, networking boosters, and more to ensure people can connect, collaborate, and create anywhere. These are the capabilities a prosumer expects. Prosumers want maximum agility from their tech, and sellers need insights to deliver it. This brings us to the second trend I mentioned, the rise of the subscription economy. What comes to mind when I say subscription services? Your favorite monthly home delivery subscription, like HelloFresh or Liverando? The Peloton subscription you bought to keep fit at home? A ride-sharing app like Uber? Or a music app like Spotify? The concept of subscriptions has come to dominate the B2C segment, and sellers cannot ignore the influence it has on our customers and on our business. The global subscription economy market is expected to grow 36-fold by 2025 to more than $478 billion. In a commercial capacity, this represents a significant shift in how business is conducted, how products are marketed and commercialized, and how technology is designed. The global pandemic and several customer behavior changes accelerated this trend. The continued shift toward e-commerce, the influence of CSR in consumer decisions, the demand for personalized experiences, and of course, the mass movement toward hybrid working arrangements. All of these shifts point to one thing: enterprises need flexibility at scale. Subscription services create stability and generate recurring revenue, even in volatile landscapes, and yes, even in the commercial market. Let's look at HP Instant Ink, our subscription service where customers pay a fee based on the number of pages they print and not the amount of ink they use, and get automatic cartridge replacements when ink dips below 25%. We saw record growth, surpassing more than 10 million subscribers globally in our last quarter. We also just launched HP Managed Print Flex, a cloud-based subscription service. Users select the printers that best match their hybrid needs, and supplies, support, analytics, and security are all built into it. With HP's smart pricing plan, plans automatically adjust month to month to ensure the best cost option based on actual volume printed. Another example is our new HP Additive Endpoint Management, where IT managers can send PCs directly to employees with zero-touch deployment and rapid setup. And HP Connect for Microsoft Endpoint Manager, launching later this year, makes it easy to remotely configure, secure, and update the BIOS of HP commercial PCs. All of this happens with fully managed subscriptions. We are creating multiple value propositions for our customers. We are reducing complexities, prioritizing convenience, driving efficiencies, and so much more. And we are enabling partners to innovate and personalize on top of a baseline service. That brings me to the third trend I'd like to discuss. I believe an outcome-based go-to-market model is the future for our industry. In this model, we sell business outcomes, not just products. To do that, our sales mindset must transform. We must utilize what's known as segment of one, where we identify the specific needs of customers and define a path to help them achieve results. With segment of one, transactional experiences are replaced by data-driven, hyper-targeted, and lasting value propositions within the protocols of data privacy, of course. Let me give you an example. We know that gamers like to customize their PCs, so our data led us to build the Omen 30L with a glass panel tower. It looks cool, sure, but it was designed for personalized performance. Any user can slide the panel off and have total control over the components, upgrading and designing the system to their unique preferences over time. And for small and medium businesses, HP Business Boost took a comprehensive IT support, offering and tailored it not to generalized industry or market, but to a single company and the needs of its individual employees. When customers know they can approach you with new challenges and you can deliver a solution customized to the exact outcomes they're striving for, you build closeness and stickiness in the relationship you have with these customers. This is what drives loyalty over the long term. This is what future-proofs businesses. To drive outcomes, we have to turn to the fourth trend. I'm talking about the power of data. The job of an innovator is to recognize meaningful change and accelerate it. Vendors and IT partners need data to do so. Businesses that put data at the center of their vision and strategy are 58% more likely to beat their revenue goals than non-data driven companies. Those without a cohesive approach are falling behind. Unplanned downtime caused by a lack of predictive analytics cost businesses an average of $2 million between 2018 and 2020. Bring data-driven insights to every RFP, every sale, and every customer conversation. That's how you deliver unique digital-first experiences that anticipate and satisfy your customer needs. Insights are the currency of innovation. Partners who leverage data effectively will cement themselves as dynamic, trusted sellers. Enabling our partners to do exactly that is an essential objective of HP Amplify, our industry-leading partner program built to facilitate a new era of collaborative data sharing. I know that sharing data is a sensitive topic for some, but no business has a future without it. That's why we recently launched HP Amplify Data Insights, the industry's most robust channel intelligence platform. We've combined proprietary, third-party, and partner data into one intuitive platform. More than 1 billion data points are updated in the platform weekly, ensuring real-time access to multiple data sets catered to each partner's business. These deeper data insights will inspire new strategies and steer innovation in any market condition. No doubt, much of that innovation will nod to the next and final trend I want to cover today, and by far one of the most challenging issues of our time: sustainable impact. As one of the world's most sustainable companies, we know that what's good for the environment and society is also good for business. The 2020 Nation Brands Index shows that despite the pandemic, protecting the environment and natural resources was still the top issue for more than 1 in 3 global citizens. This is the 4th consecutive year sustainability topped the list. And according to Edelman's Trust Barometer, 86% of consumers say they now expect a brand to act beyond their products and business. And 68% agree that CEOs should step in when the government does not fix societal problems. Embracing sustainable practices is very critical. Research shows it also led to an almost 6% increase in consumer trust. I'm proud to say HP is living proof of this edict. This year marks our 20th year reporting on our sustainability efforts, and for the second consecutive year, we drove more than 1 billion in sales where sustainability was a known consideration. I firmly believe the technology industry has to double down on our collective efforts to digitally power a future that is inclusive, equitable, and sustainable. HP is doing this through its products and programs. For half a decade, HP has been focused on diverting ocean-bound plastic. To date, we have taken more than 1.8 million pounds of this plastic and put it into cutting-edge designs for ink cartridges, monitors, PCs, and more. Because of these efforts, we now have the world's most sustainable PC portfolio based on EPEAT criteria. Just last year, we launched the HP Elite C1030 Chromebook, enterprise laptop, the world's first Chromebook with ocean-bound plastic, 75% recycled aluminium in its top lid, and a keyboard made from 50% recycled plastics. We also launched HP Amplify Impact earlier this year. HP Amplify Impact is a first-of-its-kind sustainable impact program for our global partner community. It empowers partners to set bold, long-term objectives to drive positive impact centered on climate change, human rights, and digital equity. Partners that pledge to join the program assess their own practices while tapping into HP's extensive resources to optimize sustainability-driven sales opportunities. HP Amplify Impact is a major step forward in HP's ambitious goal to become the most sustainable and just technology company by the year 2030. But our industry still has a long way to go. It's a truly exciting time for all of our businesses, but it's not without its challenges. Many of the trends we are seeing today offer strong tailwinds to our industry. To put ourselves in a position to thrive, we need to be flexible, agile, and offer distinct value propositions to meet ever-changing customer needs. We must embrace prosumers and the subscription economy. We must sell outcomes that are measurable and attainable and designed to ensure customer success. We must recognize and harness the power of data to make more informed decisions. And we must do all of this with sustainable impact front and center. Earlier, I asked you to imagine your life several years ago. Now I'll ask you to think about life 5 years into the future. Think about the business growth you hope to achieve and the innovation you want to enable. The pace of change won't wait for anyone in here. We have to anticipate what's next and be the ones who create it. Thank you.